Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've certainly got one for you today. Just last week, I was sat there listening to William Shatner's brand new album called SHATNER CLAUS. Of course it is. It's a brand new album with some terrific tracks. And I'm delighted to say Mr. Shatner joins us now. How are you?
I'm delighted to be with you, Alex.
Do you know, not only do you have a mellifluous and delicious voice, but you have huge talent and success. You've really mastered show business, haven't you?
Well, I started really early, and I've never done anything else, and it's been a great ride. And this Christmas album is a reflection of a lot of honing that's taken place over the years, and in trying to be musical or evidence musicality. I'm trying to do that once again in SHATNER CLAUS.
The first time you did this, it was a major success, and you've become sort of synonymous with this type of music that you're recording. How do we describe it? Because it's very different. This isn't Michael Bublé, although the orchestrations are massive, aren't they?
Yeah, in some cases they are. Well, I don't know how you describe it. I think by the very nature of it being unique, it has appealed to other musicians, some other great musicians that are on this album, and to my astonishment, they wanted to be on it, and they wanted to be with me, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it is being different and having a different attack or a somewhat different attack on some of these songs. Well, how do you describe what it is I do? I take the music of the English language and try and fuse it with the music, the melodic music of an instrument. And though it's spoken, it's also musical. So there's something there that is just a little different, and I'm not sure how to describe it.
One of my favourite tracks is Little Drummer Boy, which is a beautiful, beautiful song. Let's not forget that. And of course, you do this with Joe Louis Walker in this brand new album called SHATNER CLAUS, which is out shortly. You can pre-order now on Amazon. I wonder when you go to a song like that, whether you get nervous, because of course it's been done by the greats, and many of these tracks have been done by legends, haven't they?
Yes, all of them have been. You have to respect the past, otherwise whoever said it, you go to repeat history. On the other hand, you have to ignore history in order not to be bound by it.
Yes.
You don't do anything new if you think, well, you have to comply with what was done before. Every so often, cultures go through that and then they stagnate. So there's something in between being respectful of the past and doing your own thing for the future. And each one of these songs, or several of the songs, are traditional songs given a little bit of a twist in some manner, not irrespectfully, done with reverence to the meaning and the intent, but do something different. Jingle bells. Why not jingle bells with a runaway horse? Why not a little soldier boy with a sort of innocent bystander who's the little drummer boy, and he's innocent.
Yeah.
And all he can say is ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, but he expresses ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. In fact, only on the royal king did I go ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, as though the drums were strumming. So it's musical. It's musical. It has to be musical. But what else it is, I'm not sure. The actor is at work.
I'll tell you what it is. It's feel good. I felt fabulous for the entire album. I listened to it from beginning to end, and you sit there with a smile on your face. And I think that's the intent, isn't it? You are entertaining people. You are an entertainer.
That's exactly right, and I'm so glad you said that. It was intended. It starts and ends with great joy, and when a mariachi group starts playing a number for Christmas, it becomes very funny. And part of the lyric is, I wish you a Merry Christmas. And then I play with the words of I wish you a Merry... No, I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you... And it's filled with joy and laughter, because that's what Christmas is supposed to be.
I'm sat here today talking to an icon and a legend, and I think that word is overused, but you really are. But the most shocking thing in researching you, and we're not even going to touch the size today, is your age. I honestly thought you were about 60. It is extraordinary. Your vigour for life, your incredible voice, your vocal prowess, your incredible mind. It's extraordinary, isn't it, William?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. There are times when I wish I believed it. Not too long ago. I'm talking about a week ago. I was in Birmingham, appearing at a Star Trek, really enormous thing, and I had just come from Australia, in which I did and New Zealand, which I did this one-man show. I had some years ago done on Broadway, and I revived it because they asked me to. So I toured Australia and New Zealand, and then I flew home to Los Angeles for one night and refurbished it as best I could, got on a plane and flew to Birmingham, or flew to London and drove to Birmingham. Now, it's Saturday night, and I don't know what time it is, and I had been adding 12 and then, subtracting 12 in Australia and adding 8 in Birmingham. Now, it was Saturday night, and I had been working since 9 o'clock Saturday morning. It's now 8 o'clock in the evening, and I can't think. And I get into bed, and I look at my watch, trying to add or subtract. I don't know what it is, and I'm totally confused. And all of a sudden, I had this insight into what senility is. Is that it's a joke, but it isn't.
Right.
In that everything was too much for me.
Yeah, you couldn't comprehend
it. I couldn't stand the strain of adding or subtracting the time. I didn't know what time it was, and just trying to fall asleep was too much. And then I got this warm feeling creeping up my legs. I hoped it was somebody there, but there wasn't. It was sleep. It was the peacefulness of sleep creeping over my body. And I thought, I wonder if I'm dying. And then I fell asleep, and then the end of the story is I woke up with a start and realized, my God, it's 8 o'clock, because I added or subtracted. I jumped up, showered, and I was ready to go. When I looked out the window and it was dark, I thought, no, it was supposed to be 8 o'clock in the morning. And all the clocks were off, so I called downstairs to the hotel desk, and they said, no, it's 12 o'clock midnight. Wow. I had to go back into bed.
You wouldn't believe how many people go to Birmingham and think they're dying. You're not the first, Mr. Shatner. You're really not. Are you going to take it any easier?
People in Birmingham, they're not going to like that. He said that. I didn't.
I live next door to it, so I'm entitled. When you're from there, you can sort of make the jokes. But
I guess so.
I wonder whether you're going to ever slow down. I just interviewed a guy who actually turned 90, Ken Dodd, who was my hero, Sir Ken Dodd. And he always said, you never retire from something that you love doing to do things that you don't want to do. You only retire when you don't like doing what you're doing to do things you do want to do. I kind of get his point. My
sympathy goes to the person at the table when they stand up and they say, George, here's a watch, here's this pocket watch in memory of your 60 years at the company. And the guy says, thank you. And what are you going to do? I'm retiring. And then what does he do? He goes, sits on the porch, rocks, and falls asleep and dies. And
you're never going to take that risk. You're going to carry on, keeping on.
Until the end comes, and hopefully in Birmingham.
Are you amazed? Yes, it might happen. Don't go back. Are you amazed by your popularity and the fact wherever you go because of that program?
Astounded. Astounded. I mean, I can't believe it. The Birmingham thing, there were like 20,000 people, and it seemed like every one of them wanted an autograph or a picture. It was astonishing in Birmingham, and I thought, why? What's happening?
We've only got about 20 seconds to discover this, but have you put your finger on why Star Trek was so damn popular, and some 30, 40 years later, people are still as obsessed as they were, if not more so, than when it was launched?
Awe and mystery.
Right.
But Alex, awe and mystery. Not just for Birmingham, but awe and mystery for the universe.
Yeah.
What's out there? What's going to happen? What transpires when you die? What the awe and mystery of life. And at its best, that's what Star Trek dramatized. So people were fascinated by what somebody thought. And
Mr. Shatner, can I ask you the question? What happens when we die? Come on, you must have got to the bottom of this.
I could tell you, but I've been told not to.
Very wise.
The mystery, yes. The mystery, the fear,
Yeah.
The fear. Are you afraid, Alex?
Do you know, I don't fear it because I don't particularly think about it. I'm sort of in the present, and I think if tomorrow brings me...
Wait a minute. No, that's no answer. You can't say that by denial you don't fear it. Think about it. You're dying. How do you feel?
I don't feel bad about it, so therefore I must be pro-death. How about that?
You're pro-death?
Something along those lines.
What about Brexit? Are you pro-Brexit?
I wouldn't say I'm pro that, but that's a debate for another day. We've only got 2.5 minutes now. That's going to take about 2.5 centuries to recover from.
Maybe the end of England.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how you feel about the world today. You've seen so much in your lifetime. In fact, world wars for a start.
My friend, listen to me. Alex.
Go ahead.
A moment on the air for you shouldn't go by without you saying to somebody, the earth is warming up. We're being inundated. We have to do something about it. Otherwise, we're all humankind, certainly most of the civilization as we know it, is going to be changed irrevocably. You've got to say that all the time. People have buried their heads in the whatever they've buried their heads in. It is the end of times, man. You've got to believe it. We've got to do something about it.
And do you worry, do you fear, do you protest? Because your life is show business, but of course the world has got bigger problems like the Trumps and the Brexits and all this stuff we worry about even today.
That's exactly right. I'm focused on it. I'm fascinated by it. I'm moved by it. Nobody's got the answer, but I don't think this is the answer.
Right. Where do we go next? Is there hope, or are we all doomed?
We're doomed unless we do something about it. We're being told, and I don't know how truthful it is, we can still do something about it. There's reason to believe let's celebrate because there's nothing we can do about it. The oceans are going to rise, just a matter whether it's going to be 6 feet or 60 feet. But it's going to be tough, and we got to be preparing now, not only for the change, but we got to be preparing to mitigate the change as much as possible. I mean it. Nothing else. Brexit, forget about it. Trump, it's all going to disappear. In a year, 4 years, 8 years, it's all going to change and be all right. What's not going to be all right is the condition of the earth.
I love you so much. You've been with me my entire life on TV and in my home and in my heart. I think you're a fabulous entertainer, and this new album, Shatner Claus, is incredible. It's a remarkable Christmas album celebrating you and your voice. Mr. Shatner, thank you so much for your time. I could talk to you for another 3 hours.
Thank you so much, my friend. I'll talk to you again.